Okay, so my SD card is full, but I just deleted like 404 gallery things, videos, and all that sort of stuff, because I do have some, like some posted videos that I just haven't deleted off my phone. But third time's a charm. Today it's Wren, and I'm going to talk about why I changed my name. So, for those of you who don't know, which is like probably none of you who are actually subscribed to me, everybody who's just like coming on probably doesn't know, but I changed my name from Kristen to Wren because I like that name better and it's more gender neutral, and I'm more of a gender neutral kind of person. I prefer to be androgynous at any given time. I revel in having pronouns being wrong. But regardless of that, I changed my name for mostly two reasons. The main reason was that it was very, very hard and painful to be Kristen. So let me break this down into some shit. In our system, we have this like weird kind of hierarchy thing where we have like the core, and then we managers and the respective host and the hosting alters. So for us, like an alter can host, any alter can host, but our respective host is Destiny because she's the one who discovered the whole system. So we have a lot of respect for her. She's very important to us because she's small and precious, and we love her. And then for me, previously I was like the core, and then I found out that wasn't true, so that's fun. But when I came around, I basically didn't exist for the first like 3 years that we had actual system communication. Like I popped up and then everybody was like, she's real. And since then I've been around doing things. I am going to get into the nitty-gritty of this, basically saying I didn't like being Kristen. So for me, Kristen is associated with this sort of like unattainable thing, but it's not just that. Like it's also this like amalgamation of what people outside of the system and inside of the system view Kristen to be, and having the same name being associated with that was very hard and hard to deal with, and it made me feel very like I guess like both inferior and like guilty at the same time. I really didn't like being Kristen. Like I just hated it. I hated that everybody wanted to talk to Kristen. They want to talk to Kristen. Where's Kristen? Like there has to be a Kristen, and that's actually the whole reason that I was created. I found that out like I don't know, a few months ago. But the whole reason that I'm around, that Kristen me was around, was because people constantly kept asking for a Kristen to exist, and so I just popped up. And I was more or less just that. I'm basically just the name, and a lot of the feelings that came with it was denial, pride, and incredible amount of identity crisis and guilt and self-loathing, because I was in denial because I I existed because people wanted me to exist. That's literally the only reason that I was around, and I had no choice in my namesake at the time, or I didn't believe that I had any choice in my namesake at the time, and I didn't know how to deal with that, so I didn't front ever. And I don't mean like, you know, oh, I'm only fronting like once a week. No, I mean I was gone for years. Like, I would front for maybe, I'm gonna say 2 to 4 weeks at a time, on and off, usually with somebody else like rotating with me, and then I'd go dormant for 6 months to 2 years. 2 years is the longest that it's been. Usually it's about 6 months to a year. And coming back, I'd be like, I don't really want to be here. Like everybody, even my therapist would be like, you're missing out on your life. You're not experiencing, you know, life as it is. And I'm like, I don't want to. I don't like being me, so I don't want to be here. and be me. I'd rather just like be a little like asleep the entire time, and I mean, not to get dark, but the closest thing to death for me then at that time was being dormant, like just not existing, or existing but not being cognizant of anything going on in my life. It was my escape, more or less, because I didn't want to be Kristen. I didn't, and aside from like, you know, everybody wanting to talk to the Kristen, it was also really hard to deal with trauma and empathize or even sympathize with, you know, the rest of the system, because they viewed me and as like this like unattainable thing. This is purity over here, and none of us are going to be that ever, because this Kristen has never experienced, you know, the memories of our trauma, and she likely never will, that sort of thing. And it made me feel really guilty, because everybody was always trying to like sacrifice themselves to protect me, and I'm like, I don't want this. I just want to, you know, be with the group, you know? And then and on top of that, I also had to deal with the fact that, like, being associated with the name Kristen, you can't really escape any trauma, and so you're kind of trapped where no one wants you to deal with trauma, but you knowing that you have it, you knowing that you've endured a lot of like bullshit, is making you feel terrible, because you can't really understand it, but you're also like put on this pedestal of being better and more pure than everybody else, and it's just a load of horse shit. And it made me hate myself a shit ton, and it made me cried and feel a lot of denial and spiral, like, constantly. Like, I just hated being around, and I just didn't want to be me ever, or be around to be me. And it made the rest of the system, especially Ez, who is really close to me, like, we're just very close in general, it made them feel like I guess I feel like I probably made them feel like I didn't appreciate them or something like that. And that's not true at all. I appreciate everything that they do, everything that they've done. I just couldn't quite deal with the identity of being Kristen. And it's not like I've changed everything about myself. I'm still almost exactly the same. The only thing that I changed was my name, and that's really like my name and my appearance inside. I'm far more androgynous inside than I am female presenting. And that was the biggest factors, because like all of this like emotional turmoil and self-loathing was stemming from the name. And at the time, like for years, I just couldn't figure out a way to get past it without, like, you know, just diving head into a bunch of trauma. And I don't want to do that. I mean, I'm not like opposed to doing that, but I don't want to, you know, be told that that's like the only way to do it. And I also don't want to deal with all the other alters being like, no, you can't do that. We don't want you. No, I don't want to be like seen as better or worse than any other person in the system. And I also don't want to hate myself. So I changed my name, and that is it. Like, that's all I did, was just change my name to Wren and change my appearance inside. And maybe I'm gonna try and change my appearance outside, because I don't really like my body as it is. And, you know, I do identify as agender, non-binary, so there is a dysphoria is definitely a factor there, but we're just gonna like deal with that in a way, some way, but a way. And so I'm here to say, like, for all you guys out there who don't like being you, like alters who may have come with names that they don't enjoy, names that they didn't choose, especially alters that have like the birth name and all the pain and weird like flip-floppy emotions towards that sort of thing. You don't gotta stay in that hole. You can climb right on out of it, and it doesn't take a whole lot. I mean, I haven't even changed my name legally, just socially, and that's all that really matters to me. I still answer to Kristen, but I don't identify as the Kristen. I identify as me, and I with changing my name, I basically came to the realization that I don't have to be what everybody says I am supposed to be, both inside the system and outside the system. I don't have to be that. I don't have to be an amalgamation of what people think I am. I am me. I am myself, and I will always be that, and I don't have to conform to what they think I should do, what they think I should be in any form or fashion. I can forge my own identity and be myself and be happy with myself. And that's really affected my self-respect, I'd say, because I don't hate myself nearly as much as I used to. Like I said, I hated myself so much that I basically just stopped existing on purpose because I didn't want to deal with life. And now I can visibly see the difference, because I think I front way more than I used to. Way more than I used to. Like, the only thing that actually kept me around was therapy. Literally, therapy was the only thing that kept me around, because she was like, I have to talk to Kristen. Kristen has to be the one who leaves. And I'm like, but now, like, I actually enjoy being around and existing, so I'm fronting more, and I'm happier with myself, happier with, you know, being myself and experiencing life, and you guys can be too. So that's it. I'll see you guys later.